Hey, what's happening, everybody? Rod J back again to take a look at another beer. Thanks for swinging by to check out another video. Tonight, I'm actually taking a look at one from out of Russia. And I was thinking, have I had a Russian beer before? I don't recall having one. And so when I did a beer run a couple weeks ago, I specifically looked to see what beers might be there from Russia because I do want to try some different beers from overseas. And I ended up getting this one. This is the Baltika number 9 Extra. This actually comes in at 8% ABV, so it is pretty much a strong, it says extra lager on here. I know online it says a strong lager on their website, but have not had this one before, so figure why not go ahead and check it out. Now, it is considered to be a macro. It is part of the Carlsberg family of beers. I know you can go ahead and boo if you want to boo, but it is what it is. But I didn't know it at the time, but that's okay because, like I said, I just wanted to check out one of the beers from Russia, so figure why not pick this up and give it a try. This is actually imported by 40 countries, according to their website. So it's got a little bit of a popularity, it seems, behind it. Not sure how much of a seller this is in Russia, although on the website they do make note that it is popular among the people there. On a bottle, brewed and bottled by Baltika breweries in St. Petersburg, Russia. Not really too much more on the label, as you can see from the back part there if my camera zooms in. Hopefully it will. But it is an HP cam, and I'm not sure. But anyway, let's go ahead and get it open and get it into a glass to see what this one has to offer. Now, most of you that have watched me for a while know I'm actually more of an ales guy than a lager, but I'm trying to check out more of these lagers to see what may be offered and what they can actually contribute. Maybe I start to like them a little bit more. I do like more of the pale lagers with that hoppy effect. Now, this is a 15.22 ounce bottle, so a pretty good sized bottle for what you actually got there as well. Pretty decent looking beer as you look outward onto the appearance. Has a good amount of clarity in there. Get that up a little closer to the camera. You can see the carbonation streaming nicely up to the head, which sits as a pretty much decent looking white head. Came out about 1.5 fingers of a head. It is starting to dissipate down a little bit, but for the color you will want, that nice golden straw color, for a lager, it definitely meets that. So a nice looking appearance in that regard. The aroma, pretty much you expect from a lager like this. Now, it's under the style of a Euro lager, but you do get some presence of the malts in there. I'm also picking up on the back end a little bit of a hoppiness, very similar to if you were actually smelling a Heineken. It's got a nice sweetness in there. It's got some breadiness in there. But what I like about that aroma is coming out of the glass rather easily. I'm not having to sniff too hard to kind of force it out. So as far as that regard, it's actually pretty decent as far as it tastes. Wow, that's actually not bad at all. It's got a good amount of smoothness to it. It's almost kind of reminiscent of what we might consider a malt liquor, but it doesn't have that harshness to it. It has a nice little mouthfeel in there as well. It's getting off the tongue nicely. I can feel some of that flavor in the cheek area. I'm picking up some of that sweetness from the barley that was used here as well. And that was all put together. Not getting much of a hop sense on the taste, but it does go down rather easily. This is definitely one that you could actually chug down with no problem. Now, I mentioned it was 8% ABV. You do get a little bit of that alcohol taste in there, but it's not really overly powerful. It's got a wow, if I had to put this like an American type beer, it's kind of got that feel, like I said, of the some of the toward kind of the malt. I mean, kind of like towards maybe a Still Reserve type thing, but it's not heavy as the alcohol that you would get in that one. What's up, Eric? Thanks for watching, my friend. I get a little bit of a sweetness in there. I'm getting a little bit kind of like a honey type feel. I like how it does have the flavor really working in the cheeks, though. And I think this beer, when I got it, it might have been $1.60, $1.70 for a decent sized bottle of it. Now the head does dissipate quickly, but again, it is a lager, and I'd expected it to last a little bit longer than it actually did, but it did break down rather quickly. I got to be careful not to drink all this beer because I got to take the picture of it. So I wish that would stick around a little bit more. It doesn't really leave any lacing behind, so I guess you could say the appearance is a little bit lacking in that regard. But if you want a beer that's overall going to give you something that you can throw down after a day of doing some other stuff, and you just want to relax and get that beer flavor and get that nice beer taste, it does have a nice crisp quality to it. But you will get that sweetness in there, but not, like I said, not overly sweet, but you definitely pick that up. So all in all, a pretty decent beer. And Eric had actually, he was responsive, Eric from Eric's Beer Reviews, like a Natty Daddy or Ice House Edge. I would say more towards the Ice House Edge than maybe the Natty Daddy. I think the Natty Daddy, you get a little bit more of that alcoholic harshness than you're getting in with the Ice House. And I think that would be a good comparison along those lines. A nice lager you can throw down, 8% ABV. It's going to get you where you want to go for sure. So, you know, if I look at it and I break it down into ratings and how I would actually rate this beer out, again, looking at the appearance was okay. It wasn't great, didn't really blow me away. Had a nice little amount of clarity. It's what you want to have in a lager. Like I said, the head does dissipate pretty quickly. But I would say on appearance, I would probably give this one like a 10 out of 15. As far as aroma comes out easily. If you're actually looking at it as a lager, it meets everything you would want to have for that qualification. You're getting a nice malt sweetness out of it. Like I said, you get a little bit of that hops on the background. And then also with that aroma, it's really just that ease in the flavor, because you really with a lager, you're going to have more of that malt up front than you would on the hop. So I think it does a decent job there. I'm going to actually say on the aroma, it's probably like a 12 out of 15. As far as the flavor's pretty good. It's got that nice initial hit. It's got that nice break to the finish. Has a nice crisp quality that you want to have on a lager. I got a good amount of flavor. Duration is about average. The flavors are definitely in play there, but it does a good job overall for the most part. So on the flavor, I'm actually going to give this one here an 11 out of 15. And then on the palate, you're looking at this one being probably a medium body is what I would call it, even though it has that higher ABV. Goes down really smooth. The carbonation, you can see the carbonation streaming, but it's not overly carbonated. So it has a nice appeal to the palate for sure. And like I said, everything else gives it a nice little mouthfeel for what you'd expect for a lager. So again, on something like that on the palate, I think overall it provides a decent quality. So on that one, I'm actually going to give that one an 11 out of 15. And then for an overall, get one more swig in here. It's got the sweetness you would want to have, as I mentioned, in lager. It's got the nice graininess that comes through. A touch of a little bit of the hops in the background, but you're not going to really get enough of it. If you're not really looking for it as much, you're going to probably just stick more with that sweetness. It's easily one you can have on a nice hot day or warm day. Something to quench the mouth. A lot of us now aren't cutting grass anymore, but if we were cutting grass, it is actually one you could do as a lawnmower type beer. So it has a nice little bit of overall quality, but doesn't really knock you back like you're going to want to hunt the beer down as much. But I think overall it does a solid job along those lines. So I'm going to say overall, out of the big number of the 40, I'm going to give this one a 30 out of 40 in that regard. So pretty decent in that regard. And I got to find a calculator to do my math here. Let's see here. So we got the 10, and we got the 12, and the 11, and the 11, and the 30. So we get a total on this one for me, 74 out of 100, which I think is okay on this one. It's like I said, it's not going to be one that's going to knock you back. It's a good, solid C-type beer out there. It's got what you would need to have. You're not going to be really disappointed, but you're not going to jump up for joy with it either. I think out on Rate Beer, this comes in. Well, actually, I'm looking at it right here. It comes out with the average of 3.02 at a 14,270 rating. So a lot of people have it kind of in that category, it seems. But overall, pretty decent. If you want to get like a beer, you want to keep a few bucks in your pocket, if you happen to see it, not a bad one to pick up. And that is the Baltika number 9 extra lager. That all being said, thanks for swinging by to check out another video. Big thanks to Eric for throwing a couple comments up there. Make sure you check out Eric's channel. Eric just took his beers to a new channel. So Eric's Beer Reviews, he's out of Michigan. He'll be on tomorrow night with me when we actually do the look at Southern Tier and a few other things that we'll talk about in the beer world. That all being said, look forward to catching you guys next time. Keep drinking those good craft beers. Always remember to get your beer on, and cheers.